just like her. And
Right, right.
I wrote that down halfway through. I was like, this girl reminds me of All Up in My Vag girl. So all right, so I've got another question for you.
Let's do it.
Um, the mashed potato scene. What did you think about that? And I've got a part two to this as well. It's a different kill, but part two to this.
Jeez. Creative. Never seen it before, I don't think.
Adam, how'd you feel?
I loved all the kills in this, man. I think they were fucking entertaining. I mean,
Absolutely brilliant.
It's quite disturbing. I mean, because it's just kind of, um, I mean, even though the horse was dead, it's kicking a horse when it's down, but it's already dead, and her fucking face is blown to shit, and like
What,
it's
what do you think that?
It's disrespectful for sure.
Yeah, what
especially
do you,
like when the sun comes in there. I'm just like, damn, dude, like
yeah,
he just doesn't
what
give
do
a
you
fuck.
what do you think that portrays on art though? Like, what do you think that you think? I mean, it's just even more of a just fucked up spirit, or is he just like
Yeah.
having fun? What's going on? Like, is he mental? Is he what's going on?
I think that in Terrifier 1 that um it was more disturbing in the fact that it seemed like it was just this really crazy fucking guy out just to have fun and kill and had fun doing that. And then as soon as he knew he became immortal, he got kind of cocky, but like in like and like or he got more confident. He was just like, dude, nobody can fucking touch me. I'm gonna have the most fun I can being the most fucked up slasher that has come out in years. And I think that he proved that in T2.
Okay, okay, that's a good point. So, all right, I've actually got one and then one more. So, I'm gonna tell you my favorite kill. My favorite kill of the entire movie was it wasn't even a kill. She was still alive, and this is what made it so so
Jesus,
great.
man.
Was when he was pouring salt on that bitch and rubbing it in. I fucking loved that. I thought that was like so fucking insane, so brutal. I was like, "What is this? This is like who thinks of this?"
So unoriginal, dude.
What
Texas
about?
Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Leatherface. He did it first.
Yeah, yeah,
He did
but
it first. He did it first.
he did, but he just put it in like this right here. But Art's like pouring this thing of salt on this girl
Yeah,
and just rubbing it into her back. Like how
and he did like the fucking was it
Bleach.
bleach before?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
The
what
bleach then the salt was hardcore.
Did you ever
so go
did you
ahead.
read about that scene ever? Like the end, like kind of like the aftermath of that scene. Did you ever read about that, Taylor or John?
No.
No.
So Damien took, I guess, the inspiration to one of Jack the Ripper's victims. The aftermath of one of his victims is like pictured the same way as the aftermath of that bedroom scene.
Oh, so I saw the after shot where they're sitting like on the bed together, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. That was probably pretty hard to film. Probably pretty hard to
Oh
pull
yeah.
off, and then probably emotionally draining. I'm sure they had to
Oh my god. Yeah,
I'm
man.
sure that was one of those scenes where they were like, "Listen, this is like a hardcore effect. Like we need to
Yeah.
like nail this."
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. You can't do millions of takes with
No.
practical effects, man. Like
So
it's.
I'm probably you know, it probably got real serious like in when they were either doing the drawing board or when they were sitting down for table reads.
Mhm.
I'm sure it was all fun and games, and then Damien was like, "Listen, this isn't a joke.
Yeah, we
This
can't
we
we
can't
can't
fuck
do many takes of this
we
shit.
can't fuck this
Yeah.
one up." Yeah, yeah, I
What
agree.
what'd you think about because my wife said it. She was like, this is too fucking much. Like her just like
She would have been dead. She would
Yeah,
have
like
died from shock. Like that was, and see
yeah,
that, and that's a great example of like, obviously that's for effect and for the most unrealistic thing, because she would have died from shock
That shit's allowed.
immediately.
That shit's allowed though, right? Like
I
you
mean, for
gotta,
this film,
yeah,
yeah,
you gotta
Oh no, I'm
allow
not
that.
against it. I'm just saying, like, yeah, realistic. Yeah,
Yeah,
and especially like at the end when she's talking, I'm like, all right,
it,
well, this, and that's what you kind of almost have to like just look at the movie as.
yeah,
right.
and that's one thing that I wrote is that this film is strictly for gore. Like it's just strictly there to just be gory. Like that's all there is to it. Like there because I agree with John. I don't feel that there's a fucking storyline. Like I think the storyline is shit. I think as far as the movie goes itself, it's one that I loved because it was fun. It had a lot of gore, had a lot of good kills, a lot of fun, unique kills that I was just like, whoa, this is weird. These are good things that you don't normally see. And I think that's what he wanted to bring to the table is like, hey, I can make a fucked up movie. This is what I
Yeah.
got. And
Can I jump in on since we're on this subject?
eh,
No.
So obviously I did mention that I did it. I want to clarify that the story, the first one, hated it, right? There is Taylor, you're right. I did say I want to add to what I said. There is no story here so far. Now that's where it gets interesting because this is what I'm going to say first of all. I didn't like there's a major this is going to be crazy. We're going to want to clip this by the way. There is a major difference for me in the first one and the second one. Maybe not for you guys as much because you were like fans of the first one. For me, there is a major difference in the first and second. What he did effects wise in this movie is a fucking triumph. A triumph. When I every kill, everything that had blood on it blew me away. I don't know if I've seen better effects since The Thing. I really don't. I don't know if I have. Practical, anyway.
that's a good point.
I,
That's good.
I really don't know if I have. I still put The Thing at the top because it was ahead of its time and it was like the craziest like fucking shit I've seen. But like this movie is not far off. Because here's the crazy thing. If Damien's born, if he's John Carpenter's age when he did The Thing, like say this movie was made back in the 80s,
Mm-hmm.
this movie is incredible as far as special effects. If this was made in the 80s, the crazy thing is it doesn't change. Nothing changes. Everything they did was practical and it would look the same. As far as, obviously like the way it was filmed was probably would be different and like the color grading and shit isn't as good. And the one thing I probably didn't like is like the blood is like kind of really bright, it has like that almost like a Suspiria look to it, like not like maybe that bright, but like some of the blood where you're like, okay, well that's just like really bright red. I mean, come on now. But
Yeah, like what comes out of the tip of your penis when you pee.
I'm trying to be serious, man.
Okay.
It is a fucking triumph. Like this movie looks basically the same if it's made in the 80s. People, if this was made in the 80s, people go, there's no way you top that. And I still don't know if there is. Like, I don't know if you top this. Like, the only thing that tops this is Terrifier 3, probably, right? As far as practical effects go. Everything I saw looked fucking beautiful. I was I was so shocked. I was like, because like the first one, like obviously it was really gory, but like it just didn't hit the same. I was like, okay, like because I didn't like Art as a character. This one turned it for me. Now I understood Art as a character, not plot wise or anything like that, but like, and there was no like depth to him, in my opinion. But because I mean, it's hard to put depth to a character like that, right? It's like Michael Myers. There's no
Yeah.
real depth to him. That's what's scary, right? I liked Art in this film. Hated him in the first. So going into this film, I was like, this, and Taylor, I talked to you about this. I was like, I don't, the reason I'm going to hate Terrifier 2 is because I don't like the main antagonist. I don't like it. So how am I going to like this film if the story's just as bad or whatever I was saying before I saw it, right? I was so surprised. Where it was different for me was every time in the first one, I was like, I hate all of this. Don't like it. Some of the gore was cool, whatever. This movie, I was like, okay, every time Art's not on screen, I don't like the movie. I didn't like anything that happened in between. That was the issue with this movie for me. Okay.
Damn.
Every time he was on screen, I fucking loved it. I was like, oh my God. When he's just standing, like,
Yeah, propped up.
oh my, I blown away. I was like, this is a character. Now I understand. Now I get it. I was blown away. When he fucking puts the eye in and like turns, hysterical. I was fucking dying. Obviously, the whole scene in the Halloween store with the fucking glasses and I was hysterical. I was like, now you're giving me depth to this character that I didn't understand in the first one. Because the first one, you just don't quite get the depth of like, oh, he's just killing everybody. And like, he has that one scene in the fucking restaurant where he's like, fucking, I was like, okay, whatever. Like, he's like kind of like a mime or something. I don't know. I don't know where they're trying to go with it. Now I have more understanding and like who he is as a character. And I was blown away. I was like, okay, this is what I'm fucking talking about right here.
Is it because of the little girl though? Like you feel like you understand his mindset now?
She definitely added to it. She was a great addition to his character. I think she complimented him so well, but it was also because I didn't understand who she was at the time. So I was a little let down at the end with her, but obviously that is to be continued with the third one, right?
Yeah.
So I have to kind of think about that when I'm thinking about the movie in a whole. But I
Well,
would,
so
I
who
mean,
do you go ahead?
I was just blown away every time he was on screen.
So at the end, uh, spoiler, at the end, his head's his head's gone.
Right.
Chop clean off. He is a supernatural being. I get how he can maybe grow a fucking eye back, but how does he come back with a head? But the little girl walked away. So in my take, without reading what you had told us prior, that was his spirit pretty much. I don't understand how the little girl and the boy could see
Right.
um, his spirit, but I feel like that was his spirit leaving and going into somebody else for the third one,
Right.
who Art kind of takes over that person, so to say.
Like from the first one, you mean? Like at that credit scene?
What do you
So
mean?
we're talking, well, the credit scene, obviously, where they're in the mental hospital and it's the girl from the first one, right?
Yeah, remember Taylor? I had to remember you didn't even know that there was a.
Oh,
Remember, I
you
had to
didn't even.
show you that.
Oh,
Oh no,
wow.
no, I showed it to him. Remember Taylor? I showed you that scene.
They're in the mental
Remember?
hospital and she basically births his head.
Yeah.
Oh fuck yeah, I remember that. Um,
I hated
Dude,
that. I hated that scene.
I completely forgot about that,
I
Adam.
didn't like that scene at all. Like I was like, fuck. Like, but to be continued again, right? So
So who was birthing that?
that was the
uh,
girl from the first one, right?
no, it was the
The
Or
fucked
was it
up
the
face one.
host?
It was the fucked up face girl, right?
Not from the first one. It was okay. Remember when
It was the host, right?
it was
That
the
she
host
tears
that
up
was interviewing
Oh,
the girl from the first one? Yeah, that
when she
because
goes
like
crazy.
yeah,
yeah. All
the girl
right.
from the first one like mauls the reporter and shit, and then yeah.
Right.
Okay. So storyline for me with it just like overall, I think the movies are fucking great. I think they're brilliant. I love them. Like in aspects of gore, like in aspects of just a good, fun Halloween movie to watch to fucking get you pumped. Like that's it. But a storyline, yeah, it could go on to be something more. But in the first, I mean, what was he doing? What? So I would like to almost see a prequel. I would like to see who he came from, almost like the girl drawing or the dad drawing
Yeah.
art.
And that's what
Maybe see
we
where it
maybe,
was from.
yeah, maybe we get that in the third, you know what I mean? Like that's what I'm kind of hoping is like maybe this is the dad and like that's why this family's being targeted. There's got to be
Yeah,
some sort of the story just hasn't gone anywhere for me. That's the only thing. And
yeah.
this one was by far superior than the first to me. But I'm still it gave me hope. But I'm still just a little lost at to what is going on here.
Well, that's one thing that he went into saying though is that with this one he wasn't. He took the money that he had. He didn't change anything. He just added more special effects.
Right.
And that's the key point. That's what he wanted to do. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, well,
That what he wanted to do?
that's what he is. Like he's a special effects guy.
Yeah, and
So like I mean, he crushed it. He crushed it. He absolutely crushed it. I don't know if
yeah,
I've seen better, like I said, besides the thing.
no doubt on that right there. Like even the head as the candy bowl, I loved it. I mean, just
Great.
everything about this fucking film, gore wise,
Great.
was absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
Um, I've got another just little fun fact. The girl, uh, did you guys watch Wanderlust, right?
Yeah.
Adam
Wanderlust. Mm.
with Paul
Paul Rudd.
Rudd and a couple other
Oh, about
people.
like the hippie thing. Oh, or
Yeah,
the okay, yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. Yes,
I see you're the proud owner of that upside down people mover.
yeah.
Yeah, that movie. All right, so you remember the girl who says "all up in my vag," all up in my
Is that
vag.
is that
All right,
her?
no. So the
Oh, I was like,
teenage, shut up. The teenage girl who is the friend who does all the fucking coke and Molly and drinking like a motherfucker in high school, which is blown my mind. Um, the one, you know what I'm talking about, the blonde headed girl.
Yeah.
She looks just like that girl to me.
Really.
And yeah, man, and all up in my vag. Like she's got the same mouth, dude. Like she looks just like her. And that's
Right.
just
Right.
that was just I wrote that down halfway through. I was like, this girl reminds me of all up in my vag girl.
That,
So
that girl's funny too. Yeah. Yeah, that was a good character addition, man. I just need to see it go. I need a lot out of Terrifier 3. I really do.
I
And
do too.
I mean, this could be the first franchise ever for me that like hated the first one, don't really know what's going on with the second one, and then the third one be like, holy shit, he pulled it off. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
I honestly
Out
think that's how he made T2. Like
Yeah.
I think that
Like it's that tweener film.
well, I think that well, yeah, it's kind of like it's like Empire, man. I think like when the studio was like, here, we're gonna give you even more money. I think that like probably was just like I wasn't expecting that. So you're gonna give me this much money. I think that he shot that in kind of like I feel like that's like an Empire movie. Like it's just like I think there is a planned trilogy, and I think he already had it in mind and everything. So that like, yeah, you get all these questions and everything, but like obviously you're gonna I think a lot is, and I'm hoping I'm not gonna eat crow with that because yeah, I feel like that's how he shot T2 was I'm gonna shoot this, you're gonna have questions, and I'm gonna fucking answer them. And I feel like that's what's kind of given me a little bit more optimism with T2 because I mean I'm sure there's obvious symbolisms with a lot of that shit in T2, like the sword and like
Right.
the fucking portal and all that shit. So
Yeah, I just
Okay.
need that.
Um,
I need that explained, right?
Yeah. And I have just one more question, then I'm finished. And then I want to ask you guys what you rate it out of 10 stars, Um, and
10
that's
stars. Damn.
10 stars.
Yeah.
So just like you guys were talking with the sword lighting up, her coming back, her drowning, coming back. How do you feel about that? What? I didn't get it.
Yeah, I
How
just
do you
don't
feel?
understand. I just don't understand it. I don't.
So you want me to read you some of the research I did?
Yes.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay. All right. So I wanted to know a couple of questions and everything. And so so none of it's explained of how the father got the sword, where did he build it, where the fuck he got it from. So none of that is explained. And even when people try to ask Damien, like he just says, you just gotta wait. And so that's like T3 has given me a lot of hope for all this stuff, and I'm hoping that he's correct on all that shit. So okay, so in the clown cafe scene where she is almost like he's pulling a Freddy Krueger, and for some reason he's like pulled towards this family. So obviously he invades her dreams, all that shit, and he is going to attack her and everything. And so when she finally is tested of whether or not she's going to just basically be killed or defend herself, and she pulls out the sword, obviously, and it stops her from being killed and everything. So that kind of just like is sort of like I don't know if it's symbolic of like they're almost on like the same level of like going toe to toe and everything. So it was kind of
Like he's met his match,
this
kind of.
exactly like it kind of explained like some people thought like it made her immortal or the sword was immortal and everything, and that's why like when he kicks her down that thing, I don't think he necessarily kicks her down like a literal like hole or whatever. I think it was just like I think her like personal hell or some shit, and the only reason why she couldn't or she didn't die from the sword is because that's her sword. Like it's kind of like she can't be killed by her own kind of weapon, sort of thing. So that's why she didn't die from the sword, and that's why she got back up. And I don't know. I I'm gonna probably die on the hill that he made T2 in knowing that these questions are going to be asked and that he is going to give us answers.
Yeah,
Well,
he
good.
had
I
he
hope.
had
I
to
hope
he had
so.
to have known. He had to have known
He
that.
had
I mean,
to have.
it
Yeah.
was so literal and so out of the blue, and so
Yes.
different from the first.
Ugh.
The first feels like the prequel, and this one feels like the first movie. Like in my
Yep.
Yeah.
opinion, like the first feels
Yeah.
like, oh, there's just this random clown that kills people, and then the second one really feels like at least they're at least beginning. If it ends up that way, they're beginning the story kind of.
Right.
Yeah. I
Um,
agree.
so here's a question, and we got just a few more minutes left here, so let's make it quick. But I'll ask this: what would let you down about the third one?
I'm gonna
If
go
nothing was
first.
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, buddy.
No. Okay. If the little girl is the main thing, that's my only thing. I don't want her to come back.
Wow. Ooh.
I do
The
not want her
main
to come
thing.
back. Yeah, I don't want to see her in any freaking way. I don't want her to
So
be
you're afraid that she's gonna kind of take over what? So
not
you're
even
afraid
take
that
not. I think she's gonna be if she's there. I don't want her to be there too much.
like if
Like
she
I
has
get,
too much screen time.
yeah. I hated her.
That's interesting.
I didn't like that.
I would hate that too.
I didn't like how she voiced the brother in the car. Like I thought that was super strange and super weird.
Yeah.
If she, I wrote down in this. I said, uh, just yeah, pretty much. Please don't let it be the little girl that comes back in the next one. Like I don't want to see. I want to see Art or somebody who is possessed by Art come back.
Okay.
Mm,
Adam, what do you think?
um. So as much as like she did awesome in the movie, I don't think you needed her in T2. To be completely honest, I was just like, you don't need her. It was entertaining. She did fucking great. Because especially like they showed like what she actually looks like in real life, you're like, holy shit, man! Like that girl played that fucking weird ass. Like it's incredible the makeup they did for her and shit. No, I think that would let everybody down. And like if he is not the star, or if it's not Sienna and if it's not Sienna and Art, like the main parts, like there's no T3. I'm sorry. Like they like
It would be
you
Terrifier. It would be
it, it
Terrifier ends.
it would be. It would be. And like and if nothing is really even explained, like if he truly didn't make T2 in the mindset of knowing people are going to ask these millions of questions, like yeah, it'd be way disappointing, man. And yeah, no, I would be let down with that. Yeah,
Yeah, and
That's funny that
I'll just say if they don't finish out the storyline that they've been trying to push, then I'll be
correct.
disappointed. If a
yeah.
lot of that is left out, then I'm gonna be like, if they try to go with a whole different like subplot and then end it that way, I'll be my thoughts on the
Yeah,
Terrifier trilogy will go. I don't know how much lower it can go, but it would go low. But I will say that this film to me was a little bit of a surprise, especially this. I made it known that the effects were a triumph. They really were, and I keep using that word because that's the literal word that I want to use. not because
um,
not because I'm illiterate.
I I want to say one thing real quick before we end is that
Yep.
it's funny that you brought up ends because I told Samantha whenever we were watching this, which is my wife, I told her um, this is puts me in the mind of what Halloween Ends did to for Adam did to kills in Halloween.
Right.
It just didn't make any sense. Like it was just out there and bonkers almost. But I liked it. I enjoyed the film. I thought it was a great fucking movie. Let's rate it out of 10 stars. Uh, that's what I'm doing in my journal, my movie journal for 2023. I'm doing 1 out of 10 stars. Let's do what you guys think about Terrifier 2. Who wants to go?
This is a hard one for me because I think there's so, like I said, the practical effects were just is going to bring it up a notch for me, but just a lot of my feelings on this movie rely on the third one. I can't rely on the first one because it just wasn't, the first one I hated. So
Out
this
of the
one,
movie though, like out of this one that you
just the
watched.
movie itself, I'll give it a 5.
Okay.
damn,
Dude, that's pretty good for me. I mean,
that is actually really
the
good for
where
you.
we where when this movie
Where
came
we
out, where
were.
we started, that's pretty good, man.
That is pretty. Yeah, that's shocking,
I mean,
man.
I
But
half liked this movie and half fucking hated it. That's just how it is, which is better
and
than what I
then
thought for the first one.
balance,
Adam,
man.
what do you got, Adam?
Look, honestly, I don't think 2022 was great for horror. I mean, there were some good things, and I'm gonna throw it right under the bus again, man. Because after I watched that god awful fucking Halloween Ends movie, I went into Terrifier and I was like, God damn, thank you for this movie because it saved the horror genre for 2022. So I give this a 9.5 actually because I would give it a 10 out of 10, but like I am kind of almost relying on T3 to tie this up because you know what? I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10 because I feel like he didn't make the movie for us to just have questions and not be answered. I know he's going to answer in T3. So I'm giving this a 10 out of 10 and I can't wait.
There we go.
Fair. That's
Taylor, real
good.
quick, what do you got?
I got a 7 out of 10.
Nice.
Just simply because it's a fun fucking movie. I didn't enjoy the storyline, but I agree with what you guys have said. So hopefully he brings forth what we all want. But
Yeah.
Out of everything, I think it was a fun movie. It's a good gore fest.
There you
Plus,
go.
I mean, I know you guys didn't like the characters or when art wasn't on the screen, as John said, but I feel like Sienna was one of the greatest final girls we've gotten in horror in a long ass time.
Oh,
I thought she was
she's great.
incredible.
All
She's
right.
great.
That's
You
good
got to
shit.
watch the girl. You got to watch the girl from Dash Cam though. The girl from Dash Cam's a hell of a fucking. hell of a fucking final girl, and
All
I
right.
love everything she says.
All right, we're gonna cut it off right there. Appreciate you guys joining us. Really appreciate it. More to come in the future. Hopefully you enjoyed this review. This was a long one, but there was a lot to be said about it. Obviously, I'm glad movies like this, even if I didn't love it, are making its way and they're making progress, and these small directors, or quote unquote small, are doing their thing, and they're making what they love to make. Adam, like you said, and Taylor, you both said this, this guy wanted to make a fun fucking movie. He wanted to make it his. He did that. He made something that was original. So props to him either way. Respect for that. And I hope that T3 delivers for all the fans. Let us know in the comments what you guys thought about this movie. We got a lot more to come, a lot of more reviews, a lot more content, other stuff coming. I have a film coming out that I'm still working on. We're going to be doing some stuff for that soon. So I'm super excited for that. More content. Chris will be back. Like and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow us on Instagram as well. Check the candy. And I appreciate you all joining us. Any last words, guys, real quick?
Yeah, I just want to say that beef and peanut butter are stronger together than milk and yogurt.
There we
So
go.
don't ever forget it.
All right, we'll end it right there. We'll see you guys later.
What?